So, today's topic, we're going to be discussing why the bullying prevention system in schools actually does more harm than good. So, I mean, like, on the surface level, right, it seems like a pretty decent system. So, I mean, I'm sure everybody's had this experience before, when you're either in, like, second, third grade and the guidance counselor comes in your class and she's like, alright, guys, today we're going to be learning about what bullying is and how to deal with it. And then, she kind of just goes over, like, this lesson about how, bullying is, like, hurts people's feelings and stuff. And then at the end of the you kind of walk out with a lesson of like, oh well, well maybe if I ever get picked on, if I ever have this experience, then I guess I have a support system that can help me, and I don't actually have to deal with the problems on my own, and I could just offload them to a teacher or an adult. And then but that method of thinking is actually like really really damaging because it shows that you know you're not like it just teaches kids that they never have to deal with their own problems ever in life. So a lot of people like will say, well, like, the reason they do that is because not everyone is emotionally as strong as everybody else. And that's like I do even that kind of thinking is what schools want to put in your mind so that you don't ever learn how to deal with your own problems. Because that's literally why that therapy is so popular nowadays, because people never learn how to deal with their own problems, so that eventually when school's over and they don't have a guidance counselor or a teacher and a trusted adult to tell them to anymore, now they have to pay to do that, which is just so ridiculous. So basically the whole point of that system is that if you ever have a problem, it doesn't matter what it is, like how small the problem is, you do not need to deal with it yourself. You just offload the responsibilities onto somebody else. And what that does is that they get so used to doing that they never actually learn how to do it themselves. And then you actually really damage them later on because they never build up any emotional endurance or emotional stability. So that when they're an adult, they're very very sensitive and they get offended by everything, and that's what causes all this like all these woke people to start being snowflakes on Twitter because they never actually were taught in school how to deal with their own problems in an actual mature way. So a lot of people, yeah, they notice these people on Twitter and they get offended by everything and they wonder what it actually is. And the reason why is because of this bullying prevention system. And it actually tracks out because this system didn't really start until like, early 2000s when most of these Twitter activist people were born, and then they were brought up in a school system like this, which encourages not dealing with your own problems, and then now everyone's all of a sudden surprised when they're not able to deal with their own problems. I mean, it's ridiculous, and it needs to be changed. So, I mean, a lot of people are probably going to go in the comments and be like, well, you can't just complain about the anti-bullying system and, like, not provide any better alternatives. And, I'm going to provide a better alternative. And although it may seem pretty unorthodox, the better alternative is to just do nothing. Like, it is to not do nothing, but in the situation that a student complains about some other student being mean to them, instead of teaching them how to tell people, we teach them how to actually solve it by, persevering through tough times. And okay, I just made way too many boats. That was not the smartest idea. Alright, yeah, I just wasted all my wood, but anyway. So yeah, instead of teaching them how to just offload all of their responsibilities and emotions onto somebody else, we teach them how to actually deal with it and how to solve that problem so that, in the future they actually have that knowledge on how to do it. And all of these people today wouldn't need therapists. So, one, like, common thing I've heard from people that support this system is that, people with people, not everyone is like as not sensitive as you. Everyone deals with things in a different way, and like some people, they don't have the same emotional strength as other people. And that line of thinking is really really what schools have been teaching all along. everybody starts out. I mean, it's just emotional maturity or emotional stability and the ability to deal with things is literally it's a muscle, and you don't grow you're not just born with strong muscles. No, you what do you how do you build muscle? You don't build muscle if you never lift up any heavy weights. Someone who never goes to the gym and never, exercises out their muscles will never grow big muscles. And that's exactly the same thing with emotional endurance and the ability to deal with emotional problems is that if you never actually deal with it yourself and you never actually like feel the burn of that muscle working, then it's never going to grow. So that's the main reason why people today are so soft and they're so snowflakey is because school never feels the need to teach them that. All right. I just need to get this chest. So yeah, the better system to actually help out these people long term, which is what we should be focusing on, is long term solutions. Is actually not a solution at all, but it's just a method of dealing with your own problems, which is how it should be. I don't know how it's not normalized that you should deal with your own problems, but that's really unhealthy. How they're just teaching kids that you never actually have to think about maybe being independent for once and not relying on other people. And then all it does is just create a new generation of people who all need therapists when they're older because, I don't know, like their Roblox girlfriend broke up with them. And yeah, it just does way more harm than good. And that is the main reason why in this generation everyone calls each other a snowflake because that's what we taught them to be in school. And yeah, and these schools they just need to do a better job of actually teaching kids how to be, real actual adults. So, I mean, in kind of like a conclusion statement here, basically the bullying prevention system sucks because schools suck at identifying what the actual problem is and what actually is bad about bullying, which is that if you just let it get bad, then it'll get bad. But if you stand up for yourself, then it'll go away. I mean, all of these methods of like, oh, you can ignore it or you can like just tell them that it's bad. You have to stand up for yourself. You can't just tell adults to handle it for you because then that shows the bully that you're weak, and then it basically tells them that you don't know how to handle it yourself, which will just make them want to bully you more. And even this system, which claims to get rid of bullying, is horrible at actually doing what its intended job was. So not only does it damage people long term, but it gets people to believe in this thing that will actually stop the bullying, which never actually ends up stopping it. I mean, an example is this. It's like there was this kid in my elementary school who was like super super sensitive to everything, and kids would like routinely like just say stuff to get under his skin, and he never learned his lesson because every time he just went to the whatchamacallit, the counselor, and they just handled it for him, and then every single time they just kept doing it again. And he's like, huh, I wonder why they keep doing it. Maybe it's because I haven't actually shown that I'm strong and that I can handle it myself. No, it's literally because the guidance counselors and the principals and everyone else at the school is encouraging you to be weak and to not handle things on your own, which is what you should be doing. So not only is it an ineffective solution, but it's not the actual goal that school should be looking for students' long-term mental and mental health and emotional health. So yeah, that's just kind of all that I wanted to say for this video. So if you enjoyed, leave a like, and if you didn't, leave a dislike. I don't really care. Either way, it gets more views, which is always a good thing. And this is actually a pretty good spawn. Look at this. You got like cows and sheep and pigs over here. Look at this. It's a great spawn. It's gonna be a great world. But yeah, if you made it this far into the video, I appreciate you because you're a lot stronger than most other people in today's times where they just look at the title, they look at the thumbnail, look at what I'm saying in the first 30 seconds, they make an instant judgment, which is what their, culture is supposed to be all against. Like, you're not supposed to judge people, guys. Everyone's not supposed to judge people. And then they just take 1 second, they look at it, and they're like, no, no, I'm not going to hear this person out because they do not agree with me. And I only listen to people who agree with me because I live in an echo chamber. Alright, I'm kind of veering too off topic, but yeah. See you guys. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.